So in an older video of mine, The Danger of Being an Empty Vessel, I did highlight some of the qualifications of the people who mentor me, some of the people whom I follow, some of the people who influence me, and you can check out their qualities by checking the link in the description. But today I would like to take you through a couple of them. The people who have made my 2021, the people whose words, whose achievements, whose process, whose step-by-step, how they take on their lives, how they take on their businesses, how they take on different challenges and come out strong. These people have made my 2021. Enjoy this video.
It's been a long road to get where I'm at right now today. Some of you may have run into me just 2 or 3 months ago or a year ago, and you're like, oh dude, the guy's got a car, he's got a plane, you know, he's got money, he's got a hot wife, and you think, oh, he's got it all made. But it's been a very, very, very long road getting here. Okay, it's been 32 years of pushing, shoving. I've invested money that I didn't have. I went into debt. I got great at a job I hated. I've thrown myself into the face of rejection tens of thousands of times. So when you like, man, Grant, it hurts, I don't feel sorry for you. And you guys are like, oh, I'm not cut out for this. This is what you have to go through. Anybody can be 1X or 2X. Dude, to get to these multipliers, I mean, to blow the roof off of your life and career, you have to go through stuff. I've been hung up on and humiliated. It's not enough that God just hangs up on you, but he humiliates me on the way out. I've been disappointed by deals that never happened, by customers that never paid. My buddies had kids going into college, and I had not yet found my wife because I was paying the price. I always say this, pay the price today so you can pay any price in the future. Pay the price now, okay? Pay the price. I've traveled 3 million miles on commercial airlines on those coach seats. I've had people tell me, hey, you market too much. You market too aggressively. Take me off your list. Look, I've been ridiculed by my peers, by customers, and by competition. I've been judged for working too much, wanting too much, being too colorful, being inappropriate, insensitive, and too out there. I've been threatened, I've been sued, I've been betrayed by friends, I've been ripped off, and I've been copied. 30 years, 18-hour days, not 8-hour days, not 10-hour days, not 12-hour days, 18-hour days. I've been married 15 years to Elena. Not one time has she ever said, you work too much. Not one time. She has never said to me, what are you doing getting home so late? She knows what I'm doing. I'm closing deals. I'm taking care of my family. I'm trying to get to 10X levels. It's been 30 years, 30 years. It's probably gonna be 30 years for you too. Doubt, uncertainty, insecurities, rejection, disappointment, judgment. It's gonna be 30 years of it. Are you willing to pay the price? Right? This is the secret of the successful people. This is what I've committed my life to doing. I told my mom when I was 16 years old, one day I'm gonna be successful. One day I'm gonna be successful, and one day I'm gonna help a lot of people. Okay? My legacy, thank you. My legacy will not be the money I made. It won't be the plane I ride in. It won't be the car I drive. It'll be the people I helped. Thank you. You give me an opportunity to do what I'm supposed to be doing, helping.
There's an important difference between sales and marketing, and this is something many people confuse, even many organizations confuse. So first, let's understand marketing. Marketing is all about the awareness. It's about generating enough interest and understanding that people know what you're trying to sell. The sales part is the actual cash. How much have people paid for what you want? The direct sale. Have they paid for your product or service? So the difference is the conversion. If you're going to market to 100 people, only about 20 of them are actually going to make a sale at the end of the day. So you need to have different kinds of budgets and different kinds of channels of how you get this to be done. Marketing is often done through simple things like social media, TV, radio, billboards, adverts, something that will reach as many people as possible. It's about how many people see, how many eyeballs get onto your brand, onto your promotion. It's about how many likes, how many follows, how many people scroll through and see, how many people watch your video. That's the marketing part. You're trying to build awareness. This is why companies have big events or activations, or they sponsor things, because they want you to get used to seeing their logo, their company, their staff, their product, their message. So you know this company means this event or this product or this service. It's not about you buying what they're selling, it's about you knowing what they have. Then the sales part is where you actually need to make the money. But you can't make a sale to someone who doesn't know what you're selling. So the salesperson's job is to see how much awareness they have and then take them, convert them from someone who knows what we do to someone who is a customer of ours. Your customers are only the people who have actually spent money for what you are selling. It's very easy to say we have a great idea, we have a great service, we have a great product. How many people have paid for it? How many clients do you actually have, customers that have paid, that have said, I will part with my money for your product or service, that have agreed with you that what you're giving has value, a set value that is at the price that you gave, and they're willing to sacrifice? Because every customer is giving you their money that they could have spent on something else. So they're choosing what you're giving them. And that is how you can call them a customer. That's a sale that you've made. So it's important that you have a very big marketing channel so as many people as possible can know about what you're selling. And then it's important to have effective sales, where if you market it to 100 people, make sure you get those 20 that you've budgeted to get, not that you only got 4 because you're not effective at selling. So you need to be effective at marketing to get the attention and to get the awareness and people to understand what this is. You don't want them to see your logo and they don't know. Is that a company that sells cars? It's a company that sells milk. It's just the blue logo. You need the awareness from the marketing. And then you need the sales. Why should they choose your milk over the other milk? Why should they choose your car over the other car? How is the service? What is the brand? What is it associated with? What are they going to get from this? How long is it going to last? What is the kind of quality? That is now in the sales, which is where you need to give more detail. And you need to make sure you remove the obstacles in their mind. But it's expensive. Let me tell you why it's not expensive. The competitors are this, and this price. This is what you're going to get. This is how long it's going to last. You need to show the value to the customer. Make sure that they buy in so that they're happy.
Macro patience. You're a young man building something meaningful, a relationship, a business. It takes 10, 20, 30 years. On your day-to-day work, you have to be fast. With the clients, they email you, you email them back. Like your day-to-day, but your vision, what you want to achieve in life, you're not going to build it in 1 year. And so many people have it reversed. In the day-to-day, they're slow. And in the macro, they want their business to be huge the next day. So you need to reverse it.
So if you have to make the decision between, in my case, building a better framework or focusing on that, or trying to find more customers, what would you advise? Knowing that I don't need the money of new customers right now.
Both.
Okay. Thank you.
And so here's an answer of both. Number one, how hard are you working? I don't know. If you're working 12 hours a day, I feel like you could work 17 if you want, right? Number two, if you're working every hour and you can't work more, with the money that's coming in, too many young people and too many young businesses, when they start having money come in, take it for themselves. They want to buy a good watch. They want to buy a good car. They want to buy fancier shoes. What I would do is when my first money, so here's my story. This is not advice I'm giving just for fun. This is my life. I walked in my dad's store. It did $3 million a year, 10% gross profit, $300,000 in profit before expenses. We had no money. I was making $40,000 a year, 37.4 actually. And I built that business from 3 to 45 million in the first kind of 4 or 5 years. And 5 years later, this is doing $45 million in sales, and I'm making $40,000. This is the advice I gave. And by the way, I was in my 20s and a guy. The exact time, if you're making that kind of money, that you want to use it to do guy things, right? I put it back into the business. I hired 4 more managers, 6 more managers, 7 more managers. I did more advertising. I built a business. So if this money's coming from Chile and the US and Mexico, hire people.
Business
that
plans
you
were
can do
created
both.
post the what was known as Black Monday, then the Great Depression in the US, specifically to allow large banks to lend money to large cash flow businesses. That's why business plans were created. That's why the first thing a business plan asks you for is strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. If you're you're in a new business which is dynamic, then those four things by their very nature are dynamic.
Yeah.
In other words, if it takes A1, and then I have 10 taxis, the strengths, opportunities, weaknesses, and threats are very different even if I'm operating in the same routes because of the structure and size and nature of my business. So if you are an entrepreneur, my view is, and has always been, and I look at the entrepreneurs we've funded, that I've funded personally, that our firm has funded, who've succeeded and those who've not, is the business plan has not been relevant at all. When you write it, that 80-page document, 40 pages of which is financial projections, right? And you're going to make an assumption about gross margin, then go to the customer and say, I'm going to sell you these bananas at 30% gross margin, and the customer changes the price, that changes the entire plan.
Yeah.
So to be nimble and agile in new markets, which we're in, that document is completely
But
irrelevant.
then why do agencies, and here's the gripe that I have, right? Why do
you're gonna
agencies...
get me in trouble.
No, because we can have a real conversation this morning. We cannot have poor people in this country and we
Yes.
don't educate them about the realities of
Yes.
entrepreneurship and business and
Yes.
still expect them to succeed
Yes.
in an ever-evolving environment.
Yes.
Why do agencies, why do banks,
Yes.
why do all of these financial institutions say to you, bring along your business plan? We even have consulting adverts that go, we even have consultants to help you strategize your business plan. Why do we have that?
Oh man, you're feeding me bait, and I'm going to be careful not to take it. Look, show me one CEO of any state-funded agency that has funded entrepreneurs that's been an entrepreneur.
Give me 5.
So that answers your question. Remember, my perspective isn't theoretical. I've just sold my business to U.S. investors, so I can tell you from
How
a
much
boy,
have you sold your business for?
It's an undisclosed sum, and it
Is it a
remains an
million?
undisclosed
We
sum.
need to be able to encourage excellence
Well,
here.
let me put it to you this way. A portion of the proceeds from which I've sold my business, I've taken 10 million rand of my own personal money and I'm investing it in my own venture capital fund to invest in other entrepreneurs, right? So,
Great
because
stuff.
I genuinely believe in the growth of this country. I believe this whole economic hullabaloo we're having will pass. South Africa's been through much, much worse. I'm old enough to remember a time when my parents were paying a bond at 27%, when the inflation was above 10%. So we'll come through this. I'm taking a long-term view about where this country's going. But for entrepreneurs to understand simply that when you go to state-funded agencies, and I say this with the greatest of respect because I know a lot of them, they intend to do good work, but they're driven by dogma, system, and process. That's why they say to you, fill in a business plan. Once you've done it, have you got a website? Once you've done that, do you have a brochure? Your market's changed. The customer's gone. The opportunity's dissipated. You got the tender on Monday. You're supposed to supply on Friday, and they're asking you to write an 80-page business plan to give 100,000 Rand in funding. The model doesn't work.
So in other words, the very same people who are giving you or saying to you, draft these strategies, don't even know how a business operates. Those that don't do teach, basically.
Let me put it to you the simplest way I can. If I gave you a 300-page thesis that taught you everything you needed to know about swimming, and you read it over a 5-year period, and internalized it, understood it, and memorized it, then I took you and threw you in the depth of the ocean, you would sink. Because swimming isn't a theory thing, it's a practice thing. You have to do it. Entrepreneurship is exactly the same way. You have
Great.
to
Now
be
tell
in
me,
the
where do
practice
we
of
start?
it.
So now entrepreneurs have got this, again, South African entrepreneurs especially, we're feeding them this sort of bait that they have to have capital. So that every
Yes,
time
yes, yes,
you
yes,
have
yes.
to have capital. The
Yes.
first thing you ask, and I see the Facebook messages as well, so we're going to go to the Facebook comments, is how do I get funding?
Yes.
How do we start changing that mindset? Where should our mindset be, first of all, when it comes to funding?
I'm very public on this, and I've taken a lot of criticism on social media for it, but my view is if you need funding to be an entrepreneur, odds are you're not an entrepreneur. Entrepreneurs make it work. When I started, I did one thing to pay for the other thing to pay for the other thing so that I could do eventually the thing I want to do. Denzel Washington says, you do what you have to do so you can do what you want to do.
Yeah.
If you need money to start, don't start. Because there are going to be times in your business when there's nobody there to give you money. I remember days when I used to have people in my office. Every month end, I wouldn't have money to pay salaries. Yet I would get on the phone and I would still trade in the business. And then I would phone my suppliers and say, look, I don't have money to pay you, but I still need you to supply me what you need to supply me with. So it's important for entrepreneurs to know that money is an important growth factor. When you need to move from 1 to 10, you need money. But to go from 0 to 1, you don't.